Hello. This presentation highlights how women who use drugs and our allies are fighting back against the systemic violence generated by prohibition and punitive responses to drug use. In particular, we're focusing on the elimination of violence against women who use drugs campaign, or Evawud. My name is Ruth Bergen, and I work as coordinator for the Women and Harm Reduction International Network, or RIN. The mission of RIN is to accelerate access to quality harm reduction services for women who use drugs. And the vision is that all women who use drugs have ready access to services out in a context of no judgment and decriminalisation. Not only do women who use drugs experience much higher rates of violence than other women at the hands of intimate partners as well as from the state, but women drug users also lack legal recourse due to the criminalised status of drug use. Stigma, gender inequality and criminalisation have combined to create conditions where violence is not only common but also, in practical terms, effectively sanctioned and endorsed. RIN advocacy works to bring these conditions into sharp relief and to promote immediate and longer-term normative guidance to respond to and ultimately end such human rights violations against women who use drugs. For example, with the support of the Robert Carr Fund, RIN has been able to coordinate a small grants program to enable campaigns led by women who use drugs to call attention to systemic violence against our community in respective local or national contexts. To give you some background on how this campaign was founded, it can be seen as part of the RIN effort to collaborate more closely with the women's movement, which has otherwise tended to exclude engagement with women who use drugs and the impact of prohibition. After all, gender-based violence cannot be eliminated if those most affected are not directly and meaningfully involved in all levels in relevant policy and programming. As you know, the pre-existing UN effort was initiated by feminists in the 1980s and then marked by the UN in the 90s, building to an annual 16 days of activism starting on November the 25th, the International Day for Observance of Elimination of Violence Against Women, with 16 days of action through to December the 10th, International Human Rights Day. It uses the colour orange to colour the world with efforts to stop violence against women. Higher rates of violence suffered, coupled with the absence of attention to women who use drugs in this global UN campaign, led us to the initiation of Evawud, the elimination of violence against women who use drugs. As with the wider UN campaign, Evawud adopts the use of the colour orange and runs from November 25th to December 10th, leaving scope for 16 days of activism, but with a special focus on women who use drugs. The Evawud campaign is growing each year and already has been enhanced by partnership engagement from networks such as Euroinput and YouthRise. RIN collects summaries of actions held to create a global roundup report that is shared widely, particularly with key agencies of the international women's movement. It is beyond high time that women who use drugs are included in feminist discourse and that weight is given to truly leaving no woman behind. Flashing through this presentation are images and participant quotes from the 2019 and 2020 campaigns, which were run across more than 20 countries. They give you a glimpse of the energy, bravery, creativity and determination of the activists involved. The Evawud campaign activities have included awareness raising, correcting of negative perceptions and the presentation of requests and demands for rectification in the form of social media blitzes, the launch of lived experience books, videos and webinars, art and sport activities, press releases, public marches, demonstrations and rallies, podcasts, storytelling, formal meetings with parliamentarians, police, community lawyers, health officials and women's ministries, national symposiums, music concerts with bespoke rap performances, letter writing to women who use drugs in prison, art therapy, empowerment and self-defense classes, and more. During an Evawud talk for women who use drugs on how to assert rights in an arrest situation, a participant asked, "Are these things we have to learn to live with?" Rin called on the global women's movement to answer this woman with a resounding no, and to actively improve efforts to ensure meaningful engagement with women who use drugs. Please see some footage from Youth Rise Nigeria and Club Eni in Ukraine that made up part of their actions in their respective Evawud campaigns.
And integration is again being emphasized as Nigeria joins the world to mark the International Human Rights Day. The plight of female psychoactive drug users was the focus at the Mogadishu Cantonment football pitch in Abuja. Some female victims of police brutality who were hard drug users engaged the police machines team in a novelty match.
I'm proud of that drug users are also women. They are not criminals. We have to stop discrimination and stigmatizing drug users. And you know, people doing drug use, there are many situations they work. Some people maybe family issue or other things, or maybe being abused. So we want to tell them that being a drug user doesn't mean your life has ended.
The impact of the campaign has been felt in ways well beyond those originally anticipated. In addition to media coverage and capturing the notice of governments, some participating women who use drugs report a profound sense of vindication and empowerment. In some cases, the campaigns have triggered ongoing activities, such as women-only days or auxiliary service additions and adjustments in drug user networks and among harm reduction providers wishing to improve their relevance to women who use drugs. In several locations, Evawud activity has led to the establishment of resource packs and expanded referral networks, ongoing meetings of women who use drugs geared towards building advocacy actions, the establishment of new networks of women who use drugs, and the strengthening of women's roles in existing networks of people who use drugs. To learn more about RIN and our collective work on ending violence against women who use drugs, please visit the website at whrin.site, S-I-T-E. Thank you.